Howdy champs, my name is Mohit and people, today I'm going to show you how to create tabs the way that I've done using jQuery UI. Uh, I'm going to upfront straight away start off with a preview, but just before that, let's first understand what exactly is jQuery UI. Let me show you something. Now, jQuery UI is a curated set of user interface interactions, effects, widgets, and themes built on top of the jQuery JavaScript library. Okay, basically, if jQuery JavaScript library is the cake, this is the icing on the cake, the special effects. Whether you're building a highly interactive web application or just need to add a date picker to a form control, jQuery UI is the perfect choice, people. Okay, so now let me head back to Dreamweaver, and what I've done is I've created a tabbed system, very similar to the way you have sprite tab panels inbuilt into Dreamweaver. This one uses jQuery UI. Okay, and see what happens as I click around the different tabs. Okay, notice how the tab that is actually selected gets the color white, and the rest of the tabs, for example Dreamweaver or Flash, display a different color, so you can actually make out which tab is the one that is actually selected. Okay, also notice that depending on the content that's pushed in, for each tab, the height varies every time. Alright, and the tabs actually fire on a click, so the event is actually a click that actually fires this tabbed system. Cool. Now people, the way I've written the code, it's so very easy to manipulate it. It's so very easy to change the way it acts or behaves. For example, at the moment everything is firing on a click. I can easily go out here in line number 15 and change this to mouse. I beg your pardon. That's a mouse over. Save it up. And let's see the kind of change that happens at the moment. Okay, so just click the refresh button, and notice people, you are no longer required to click the tabs, but you can actually fire the tabs or open the relevant content just by mousing over the tabs. Okay, that is one. Let me go back to the way it was, which was a click. Okay, but this time I'm gonna change the additional optional parameter collapsible from a false to a true. Let's hit the refresh button, let's save things up, and let's see how it actually affects my tabs. This time people, when I click the first time, the tab opens up, but when I click the second time, the tab actually collapses. So basically it's a mixture of collapsible panel and tabbed panels. And if I click the third time, it toggles and it opens up all over again. So isn't that cool? Okay, so that was yet another variation. And people, notice out here we have an additional parameter, height style. It's set to a content. I'm going to change that to auto. And notice the way the height performs or behaves this time. Let me hit the refresh button. Let's say file and a save, and notice when I click, every time the height of the content panels now remains uniform, people. Okay, so just by changing the height style to auto, you can manage that too. And last but not the least, people, there's an option disabled which initially set to a false, the way it should be, but just in case, I don't know why I would do it if I would set it to true. And let's click the refresh button. I'm sure you'll understand what will happen. These tabs are no longer clickable, so no matter whether you click on Flash, Dreamweaver or Swishmax, the content out here remains just the same, doesn't change. Alright people, so uh, let me get it back to false, the way it should be actually, and I'm okay with click event. Yes, collapsible true is fine, and hide style I can leave it to auto. That's cool. All right, let's refresh and get the tabbed system back into live. Okay, now people have used jQuery UI that I've already informed you earlier, but what exactly is jQuery UI? We have seen that too. Uh, look at the code area, the source code, and there seems to be a lot of code out here. But the truth is that if you follow me along, it's actually very simple. Uh, the effects, the themes are all taken controlled by the jQuery UI, which is a very powerful system, people. I'm not going to explain the code which is written out here. Instead, I'm going to show you something which is a lot simpler. Once we understand this, it'll be a lot easier to go back to Dreamweaver source code and understand it. Okay, first of all, for the jQuery UI to fire, you need some requisite files that have been put off to a remote server, people, and they are pulled in through CDNs. What exactly is a CDN? So CDN is a content delivery network. It can help you load pages faster and reduce the strain on your web server by offloading the jQuery files to an external server. So I've used CDNs out here. I'll tell you the basic page structure is the way it actually shows up out here. So we have the opening and the closing HTML tags, and then we have the head tags too, opening, closing. Then we have some CDNs, people. These CDNs are certain files that are required for the jQuery UI to function correctly. Okay, they are put off to a remote server and pulled in through the CDNs. Once we go back to Dreamweaver, I'll explain what these CDNs are. Okay, but for the moment, we should just know that we are using the CDN system, not the physical file. Okay, after the end of the CDNs, we have the opening script tag with the type attribute set to text JavaScript, and then we have some code, some jQuery UI. The script tag closes out here. Then we have the internal styles out here that contains just one single rule for the main div that actually contains everything, which has an ID box. Okay, and then the head of the document actually closes out here. The body starts out here, as mentioned just a while ago. Inside the body we have the main div, which sometimes people like to call as wrapper. I've called it box, which has its rules defined out here. And initially it has a UL list, then it has 3 divs, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, this is where the div with the ID box actually closes. So basically the structure is very, very simple, people. All right, and we have seen how just by changing additional optional parameters, collapsible, event, disabled and hide style to a different value, turning true to false or turning click to mouse over, turning disabled to true, and turning hide style to content, actually changes the whole meaning of the tabbed system out here. Okay, so this whole code, basically the source code, whatever you see in the code area out here, will be available as a free download from my website http://qualitylessons.net. Okay, I'm gonna carry this tutorial to 2 parts. I'm gonna terminate the part part 1 very soon out here. Okay, I've just explained the whole structure of the code area, the source code, that is. I haven't gone into the detail of the source code, but before I actually terminate the tutorial out here, let me tell you what exactly is there between the script tags. I've used the tabs widget, I've used the tabs function, people. It's targeting a division which has an ID tabs. Okay, so tabs basically is a jQuery UI widget or you can call it a function, that has additional optional parameters: collapsible, event, disabled, and hide style. And we have seen how just by changing the values of these additional optional parameters, we can change the way the tabbed system actually behaves. So people, I'm going to terminate the tutorial now, letting you know that you can grab the source code from my website, http://qualitylessons.net/downloads1, that's number 1.html. I'll see you in part number 2, people. You have a good day. Bye bye. Peace.